Okay, I'm going to give that just a minute to get your attention. And then let's do this. No, Legion, this will not be the unofficial GOP response to the former vice president's comments. I don't, brother, I didn't even bother. No, there's something else popped up. Came to my attention after the show this morning, and well, tomorrow's Firearms Friday, so I can't talk about it then. And I mean, I got to address this because I cannot let the narrative suffer the gross disservice that it's likely to suffer under these particular circumstances. I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into this one. From the New York Post, we have FBI agents say Director Christopher Wray has got to go. They've lost control of the agency. So, I'm gonna read a bit of this article to you, and I've got some thoughts on this that I think are pertinent. I don't expect that I'll do a whole half hour this evening, but who knows? Maybe if a shitload of people start watching, I'll dig right in and we'll just go for broke. FBI Director Christopher Wray has lost the confidence of rank-and-file FBI agents after a senior bureau official left under a cloud of accusations that he shielded Hunter Biden's laptop from a criminal probe. And some believe the top G-man should step down, a new report says. So, here we go. I'm hearing from FBI personnel that they feel like the director has lost control of the bureau. Kurt Siuzdak, a lawyer representing FBI whistleblowers, told the Washington Times in a report published Tuesday. They're saying, how does this guy survive? He's leaving. He's got to leave. The FBI agents are telling me that they have lost confidence in Wray. All Wray does is go in and say, we need more training and we're doing stuff about it, or we will not tolerate it. Siuzak said. His comments came in the wake of Timothy Thibault, the top agent in charge of the FBI field office in Washington, resigning amid claims he blocked investigations into the first son's laptop. Thibault's lawyer said his resignation was unrelated to these claims, that he did not seek to close the laptop investigation. Now, we do not know for sure that Thibault was the one in charge of the laptop situation, that he's personally responsible for the FBI's direct tampering in the 2020 election, but we are certain, we know it beyond the shadow of a doubt, that the FBI was involved in that particular bit of election tampering. Specifically, we know that enough Democrats said in exit polls that had they known about the laptop story, they would have either not shown up to vote or they would have changed their vote. And that is significant. I'm not making an allegation here that the election itself was not secure. It was the best election ever, perfectly secure problems and amphibious priapisms. But that there was tampering, information warfare, psychological warfare conducted against the American people is not in question. So I want to explain something to you. Being somebody who has worked in the clandestine services, this is how the world works. You have the big world of alphabet soup. the CIA and the NSA, they use intelligence procedures to identify foreign nationals, determine their threat level, and eliminate them. Right? They conduct war against the enemies of the United States of America. The FBI does everything the CIA and NSA do, right? Like NSA and CIA especially, run false flags, they eliminate leadership, they install puppet governments, etc. They assassinate foreign nationals, etc., etc. The FBI does everything that the CIA does, but they do it to Americans. I want you to think about the words I just said. The FBI, right? This is not dissimilar to saying there is an entity like the U.S. Army which conducts war and is good at breaking things and killing people. And there is another entity which is analogous to that, which works for the U.S. government and does what the Army does to American citizens. Doubt me if you like. Go back and look at Obama's record actually targeting assassinations against U.S. citizens. You look at the FBI's record, and just in recent living memory, we don't even have to go back to the storied and horrifying time of Hoover's involvement, right? Although with the kid-friendly drag shows, maybe we should take another look at those pages. But we don't even have to go back that far. In recent living memory, we know that the FBI orchestrated, conducted, and then basically entrapped people in the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping scandal, the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping hoax. We know that the FBI actively suppressed exculpatory evidence in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and went out of their way to provide clearly doctored evidence against Rittenhouse. They fabricated evidence against Rittenhouse in his trial. Right? That's not an opinion that I hold. That is the fact of the matter. Now, when we're talking about director Christopher Wray, never forget, you were talking about a man who has said that Antifa is not an organization, right? And we just covered a large organization of Antifa showing up to provide armed security for the, by the way, the name of the kid-friendly drag event was the Drag Your Kids to Pride event. That was the name of the kid-friendly event at the distillery in Texas. But the show is not about that. That's not what I'm talking about tonight. I haven't had my nap today. I just got a great big bucket of get shit done, and we're going to have to power through with that. Clown world. But when we're talking about Christopher Wray, this man has said that white supremacists are the greatest threat to national security. That they are the largest source of domestic terrorism. I'm sorry. 0.21. Because I could point to a whole summer of love. And that whole summer of love thing, where the Black Bloc, Antifa, BLM conglomerates established their CHOP, CHAZ, their Capitol Hill autonomous zones, right? Everybody heard about Capitol Hill. But most people, you guys that watch this show, you've heard me say this before, but most Americans are not aware that things like the CHOP, the CHAZ, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, those autonomous zones popped up all over the country. There were dozens of them. Dozens. That, my friend, is what you call an actual armed insurrection. Oh, hey, I got a new face here from Twitch. It says hello from Russia. Well, dear Russia, to you I say Privyet Tovrich and Kog the Allah. So Scott Mouche points out they perjured themselves repeatedly before the FISA court and suppressed laptop story and everything else you're saying. Yep, I'm right a lot. It is my cross to bear. But here's the thing about ousting Director Wray. We've got FBI agents now apparently calling for the ouster of Director Christopher Wray. And hey, I'm on board, 100%. He's a shitbag and he needs to go. I mean, excuse me. I've done a lot of talking today, guys. You might have to bear with me a minute. Yeah. So, yes, Director Wray is a shitbag, and there's only one thing you can do with shitbags. You light them on fire, ring the doorbell, and run. Right? That's what they're for. They're certainly not meant to hang around in what are otherwise, or what should otherwise be, hallowed institutions. I mean, back me up on this, Legion. You get a shitbag in your unit, and he's got to go. A legitimate shitbag, there are only so many push-ups you can get before he pukes beyond the capacity for usefulness, and it's time to chapter that SOB out. But if Wray goes now, who takes over? That's the thing. I can tell you right now, before Wray is even out the door, assuming he gets out the door. All right, remember, there's nothing here that says that this is imminent. All we have right now is that the organization is turning against him because he's ineffective. But if God willing, Wray were fired today, he'd be replaced with a Biden appointee. Now, there'd be a period of time, confirmation hearings and all that, but guaranteed, a Biden appointee is worse than an incompetent Christopher Wray. Right now, I think Wray is the incompetent head of a corrupt organization where bad men are doing bad things on purpose. I don't actually think that Wray is adequately competent to be significantly corrupt. I think he's just a basic bitch shitbag. But that's enough of a problem to be a problem, right? I've seen soldiers that I do not want on the line with me. I've seen soldiers that you look at them and you say, wow, if you walk out that gate with me, I'm going to have to tote your fat ass back, aren't I? Nope, not today. You go man a radio in the talk, fat boy. Legion says Trump's only real lie was I hire the best people. You know, I was talking to my dad about that yesterday, and I've pointed out, and I've said this on the show several times. Trump's biggest mistake was not firing everybody when he first took office. Right when Obama took office, he fired everybody and replaced them. Just the whole staff, the whole cabinet, just everybody, just gone. Talk about draining the swamp. That's what Trump should have done. Now, in Trump's defense, when Obama came in, he had the entire mechanism of the Democrat political machine ready to basically plug in 3,000 or 4,000 staffers and cabinet members and just put them all in. Just boom, here's the package. It comes with it. Donald Trump came in with an organization behind him, but not a mass political machine. In fact, if you remember, the National Republican Party was pretty foursquare against Donald Trump as he came into office and was not exactly on board for the stuff that he did. You know, we talk about how much uphill struggle the Donald had against all of the bias in the media and all of the bias in the establishment. And people forget, yeah, the Republican Party was also part of that uphill struggle for a large chunk of the early part of that one-term presidency. Danny says 4,000 jobs open up when you win president. Yes. Well, no. 4,000 jobs can open up when you win the presidency. And the correct thing to do, the thing that Donald Trump needs to do, if God willing he is inaugurated again in 2025, is, yeah, the axe goes behind the woodshed and 4,000 jobs go with it. Danny says Trump team is vetting over 10,000 people for 2024. Yes, that's honestly, any Republican who runs on the platform, I will fire 10,000 people when I win this election, has gotten my vote. Like, seriously. I mean, you want to beat that? You want to get my vote from the guy that says I'll fire 10,000 people once I'm elected? You come up and you say, yeah, well, I'll fire 20,000. Y'all start that bidding war, and you know the first one that gets so high in those numbers that he has to start saying, okay, fine, I'll abolish the FBI and the IRS and the DOE and the EPA, and oh yeah, you come in and start slashing red tape and just abolishing entire bureaus, you have my attention. So the real button that I want to put on this, and I've already said it, but I'm going to wrap it up on this point. The thing that needs to happen, assuming Wray is ousted, which we don't know yet, we're seeing the pushback, but we're not sure about yet. But assuming he is ousted, I don't care who replaces him. That person needs to be fired as soon as possible. Whoever replaces Christopher Wray, Wray needs to go yesterday. And as soon as possible, his replacement needs to be replaced. In fact, I'd probably say that the top 50% of the FBI needs to be replaced at a minimum. That's a generous estimate. If I had my druthers, we'd just abolish that criminal organization. So, but that's about all I've got for tonight. Thanks for popping in with me for this pop-up. I didn't want to go too long on it, but I felt like I needed to talk about this and point that out before anybody gets too excited about the idea that Christopher Wray may be on his way out. He's guaranteed to be replaced with another shitbag, basically. So, y'all be safe out there. Tomorrow is Firearms Friday. We'll see you back here at 07:30. Good night. Ah, wrong button. Ah! Okay, it's this button.